sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes, yes sir,
Cook my dinner,
yes sir,
wash my clothes,
yes sir,
and clean.
yes sir, 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 yes, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir.
A woman does not know how to love a man because her love is best demonstrated in obedience to the man.
Yes sir, 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 yes, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes, yes sir,
Cook my dinner,
yes sir,
wash my clothes,
yes sir,
and clean.
yes sir, 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 yes, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir.
Okay, this is Raptor News, and today's topic is going to be regard for our Hebrew women. And basically, I just want to start out by how I treat my wife. And I'm not going to say that it was always like this, but we had to build a foundation for it to become like this. So how I treat my wife is she can offer suggestions. That mean that she ain't the silent partner, but I have the final say. Under God. And that she is not to assert authority over me, because no woman is to assert authority over men, our God-given right as men. And no one is going to take that right away from me, or shouldn't take it from anyone else, because this is the order that God gave it. As to take control of a situation is, like going and pay a bill without me knowing, or she just left the house and went somewhere and didn't inform me, or she doing something and she ain't telling me what she's doing. That's not gonna happen. And basically we have to build to this point. That just don't happen overnight. If she been learning the opposite way, by her parents and her family situation, when you get into a relationship, you have to take that into consideration, because God command that we be considerate to the woman. If she wasn't raised with a father, she don't even know what a man is supposed to be, and a man ain't, then how is you going to inflict a bunch of manly doctrine on her? You got this got to be over a period of time. It takes a while for people to grow. And when it comes to argument or fights or disputes or disagreements, I speak first, respectively. And then respectively I give her a turn to speak her mind. So it's an order. That way we ain't talking at the exact same time, because we are not going to talk at the exact same time, because that is chaos and disrespect and disorder, and I'm not going to have that. And lastly, dynamically, we both go 100% by the scriptures, allowing God to have the final say, so that we don't fall into arguments or disputation. And so I say to my wife and my daughters, because I have to set an example, you can't reverence the womb that bore you if the father is treating the womb that bore you like shit, as a man. So my children have to watch me and how I deal with my wife with as much kindness and respect and equity as I possibly can. And that don't mean that you're going to be 100% dynamically fair and all that, because you can't, because we still have authority over them. So ladies, take this into consideration. Do you want whoever marrying you, that chump, to be ordering you around? Y'all gotta talk about these things. Like, what is going to be, you gotta almost have a contract with a man when you getting it. I'm talking about into these relationships or this marriage, You got to have some type of contract where you know what to expect from his ass. Now, if he up and do something different from the contract, y'all got to put all of y'all stuff out on a front street to say, this is how I am. This is what I expect from my woman. This is what I expect from my man. This is what my expectations. And those expectations have to go 100% by the scriptures, allowing all to have a say and God to have the final say. And I treat my wife with respect, and I'm very patient with her, like Christ was patient with the church. So this is a command, and I just do it naturally. So despite our God-given authority, we have to treat our wives with as much equality and respect as possible. Equality meaning in this situation, we both have a God-given duty and role. So let me open this up a little bit more wider so you can see what I'm seeing here, man. Okay, I wanted to talk about these words that's being used because it's not right to me. Sir definition. I already know sir means sire. So sir definition is used as a way of addressing a man, especially one in a position of authority. Sir. I hate that fucking word. I hate all exaltation and pride, because with that word sir comes pride, and God is coming to destroy pride. All pride, all the arrogant, all the boastful is about to be demolished in a minute. And so I don't like the word sir, period. Sir came from the ancient root word sire, which means king or master. And I don't like those fucking words either, king and master. Unless we talking about God being sire, king, and master. As in a man having that is haughtiness and arrogance to me. And I don't believe that no woman should be calling her man sir. Because I'm gonna show you why. So bear with me with this. Don't jump off the gun and say, oh, man's supposed to be doing this. No, that's your ego, man. So watch, I'm gonna show you that's your ego. Sire definition: addressing someone of high social status. High social status is fucking arrogance, especially a king or a master. That's not in my terminology. I would never have my kids or my wife call me sir. I can get respect from them without them having to do all of this crap. Master definition: a man who has people working for him under his subjection, working slaves, especially servants or slaves. That's freaking master. And so, ma'am, when he say, yes, ma'am, you think you being respectful for her, you calling her your mother. That's the definition of ma'am. One's mother. It's totally disrespectful. It's stupid. So you're called master, like you got slaves and servants and you the king, and she's called ma'am. Hey mama. It's fucking dumb, man. Ma'am was a slave terminology coming from the root word mammy, used of a female black slave. Mammy definition is black woman having the care of white children. I would never call no fucking woman ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Unless I'm saying, I wouldn't even say that to my mother. Yes, ma'am. I would just say yes, mother, or something like that, but not ma'am. Pride definition is to be arrogant and act haughtily, like you in some big, huge position of authority and stuff like that. It has to be order. So God put you as head because you were made first. He put you as head, and head just mean leader. It don't mean tyrant, black man. Leader. And a lot of you guys can't lead without being damn tyrants. And you don't understand that when you lead by being a tyrant, then someone exercised that tyrancy back on your black ass. So we're going to start with Ephesians 5:28. In the same way, a husband should love his wife as much as he loves himself. So if you calling yourself, if she have to call you, this is a rule for you. And I ain't saying, okay, y'all can't say this and can't say that. If this is going to be a rule of yours, that she have to call you sir, then, and which is sire, which is master, then basically you're going to have to call her mistress. Because in the same way, a husband should love his wife in the same way as he loves himself. So if you're loving to be called master, you need to be calling her mistress, which is in definition a female master. So she, instead of ma'am is degradation. Mistress is what you call her. Yes, sire. Yes, mistress. That's the same way. Other than that, you off, black man and black woman, if you calling him a sire and he ain't calling you mistress. A husband who loves his wife shows he loves himself. Indeed, no one have ever hated his own body, but he nourished and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. Having patience. So Christ had patience with the church, and he treated his member with kindness and regard. So this literally means Christ had patience with the church, and he treated his members with kindness and regard. So this literally means give your wife the same regard and respect as you desire for yourself. It literally is telling you, have the same regard for your wife as you have for yourself. I see a lot of y'all in the videos like Dow. You ain't having the same regard for your women as you have for your damn self. That's called a tyrant. So if she calls you sire or master, then by this law you must address your wife as mistress. If you following that law in the Bible, you must address your wife as mistress. I'm not going to have her calling me sir, and I ain't calling her mistress. I'm going to call her by the name her mama or daddy gave her. And call me by my name. We can call each other husband and wife, but I ain't calling you mistress, and you ain't calling me sir. Mistress definition is a female master, as we said before. Ephesians 5:25. Take the words out of the Bible, like I said, don't do. Don't go by it, Dow, and all the rest of you chumps. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church. Love your wives like Christ loved the church. He took his time and had patience, and he invited, into the way of God, right? And that's how you love your wife. You invite her into the way of God, not into the way of being a slave servant of yours. 1 Peter 3:7. Husbands, in the same way, treat your wives with consideration. In the same way that you consider yourselves, that's what it's saying. Consider your wife. Just like I said, if you ain't calling her mistress, she shouldn't call you sir. As a delicate vessel and with honor, and we're gonna look up the meaning of all these words, as fellow heirs, owners of each other. Like you become one. How you becoming one? And you assert so much damn authority. You can only assert the authority of your God given right by God, of the gracious gift of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered by the devil. Matthew 19:6. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. So you treat your one flesh as yourself. Regard your one flesh as yourself. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate. That means she can't be separate from your own flesh. You got to treat her like yourself. And this is what God is trying to pound in you arrogant bastards' heads. Here's definition. A person legally entitled to the property or rank of another. Honor definition. With regard and with great respect. You can't have great respect saying ma'am, or you can't have great respect for a woman, and she calling you sire. To call you sire is you looking down on her. It's stupid, man. Y'all have no idea that all of this shit come back on you, gentlemen, and you know, and females. If you ain't obeying your husband, all of it comes back on you. You know, I'm not talking one way. I'm talking two ways. And just like I said, this is why you can't put an idiot over you, women. You got to know what his agenda is, what his plans is, what his thought patterns is. You know, how he envisions treating women and children. You know, before you take this man into marriage. It ain't he look at his dick size and see his muscles and his shiny teeth and his stature, you know, and how big his wallet is. And this is what we take into consideration, like the majority of our black women do. Now, that ain't what we take into consideration. You know, and every time I mention size of a penis or something like that, you always get some faggot, you know, who want to reiterate on that. Oh, yours must be small. What the fuck is you concerned about my penis for? I got 6 kids. You know what I mean? My penis is working just fine, and it shouldn't even be in your mouth, faggot. The fuck you talking about my stuff for? You know, my wife and whoever I slept with was just fine with it. You know what I mean? The hell you up in my pants for, punk ass nigga? Consideration definition. With careful thought is how you talk to your wife, typically over a period of time. You know. Delicate definition is easily broken or damaged or fragile. So again, you know, with consideration, delicate, and fellow owners, here's, you know, y'all belonging to each other. And you gotta realize that she's more fragile than yourself. You know, but in today these women is more tougher than these damn weak ass men. You men are treating your helpmates as personal slaves, and that's wrong. When yes, you have the final say and you are the spiritual leaders, you know, and you are the king of the castle, meaning that you lay down the law. But God is the only sire or master, not you. So if you laying down the law is only one lawgiver and one law, and that's God of the Torah, right? The God of our forefathers. That's the lawgiver. So I tell my wife, just like I said in the beginning, I'm a kind king. Meaning what? That basically, if I'm going to lay down the law, it's going to be the law of God. You know, and it's hard enough just to be obeying God than have some, like I say, dick weasel pumping all these serious egotistical commands and shit. Now, wash my feet. Now, do this. Now, do that. And then Dow got his wife cleaning, she hadn't had the babies. She's taking care of the baby. She cleaning up the damn house and shit. She cooking all the meals, and she had to go to work. What a bitch ass nigga. The man is the provider. You know, you a bitch ass nigga for having your wife do all that shit. So, don't let anyone, and this is Matthew 23:8, call you master. For you have only one teacher or one master, and all of you are equal as brothers and sisters. All of you are equal as brothers and sisters. However, Ephesians 5:33, let each one of you love his wife like himself. Like himself. Now you wash her feet, you know. She mistress now, you know. If you want to be master, she got to be mistress. If you want her taking work at a job and stuff like that, coming home and taking care of the kids and cooking for you, then y'all take turns with that. You know, come on, she ain't your personal slave, you fucking jerk rod, half a fucking man, marblehead bastard. And let the wife see that she respects her husband. So that's why, I mean, y'all gotta earn respect. You think because you just showed up as a man you're supposed to automatically get respect. Respect is given to where respect is due. And people, the only thing that's respectable is your obedience to the one master, God. That's what's respectable. Your job, your title, your dick size, your height, your stature, everything. And I'm tall and everything else. And I'm not talking about myself, faggots, for the ones who can, oh, he must be short. They always measuring you as a man because they fags. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about men in general. And women in general. So what these verses are stating is that you lead your wives in the way of the Lord and righteousness. But if you don't like authority being asserted on you or over you, then both of you just follow what our master God stated for us all to do, and quit with all the prideful control issues. So one last verse I'm going to give you, or two. Matthew 7:12. Therefore all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, that's men and women, that's mankind, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. This is the law. So however, this is what God's saying about man and wife. However you want to be treated, treat her. Again, therefore everything whatsoever you would that men should do to you, you do even so to them. For this is the law of God. And the law of God supersedes your pride and arrogancy and self-control. Gentlemen. Matthew 7:2. And with what measure you met, it shall be measured to you. And y'all gotta understand it's a balance system out there. So if you a drill sergeant to your wife, I guarantee you life is a drill sergeant to you. I guarantee you your work is gonna be doubled. And everything else, if you're making her work doubled and multiplied. Come on, I'm gonna say this, man, from just a human's perspective. Life is hard enough by itself without an extra boss. God is enough boss for everybody without an extra master. One master is good enough. That's all I'm saying. One master is good enough. And I'm saying this too. The book is telling y'all to treat your women like yourself, and you disregarding that part. You can't disregard. You can't add or you can't subtract from the book, and you know it. And y'all subtracting from the book your duty to your wife. You ain't just complete master and asshole in control. Nah, that ain't what the book is saying. It's like, if you can't stand a masterful asshole, then stop being one. I don't like nobody telling. Since I understand Matthew 7:2, what measure I put out there is going to be measured back to me, and whatever I do to men is going to happen to me. Since I understand this Matthew 7, then I understand that I don't want to put nothing out there that I don't want to receive back. Whatever you put out, you're going to receive back. Whatever you put in, you're going to receive. As whatever you sow, you're going to reap, man. You're going to reap. And so y'all don't want to reap this. And then if you having a hard time at work, sire, sir, master, ignorant ass shit, man. That's why, until you stop being master and sire, and you let the master and sire God be what he is, and you be what you are. Come on with all that master and sire shit. And so, women, I'm gonna say it again to you. Choose a man, that knows what he's doing, number one. He got direction, number two, and control, number two. That he knows exactly. Like, my wife was the most chaotic woman and stuff of us getting into a relationship. My wife was raised by generations and generations of women. So each woman just raised up the kids, and from generation to generation. And her mother was just a boss over men. And she just was. And when I stepped into the family, basically I had to check every woman, pretty much. I had to say something to everyone that they are not going to assert authority over me. I don't care how they was raised, how crazy they get. You ain't finna assert authority over me. None of y'all is. You know what I mean? I had to tell each one. Wife, mother, grandmother. And if it was a great grandmother, I would tell her too. And I'm just going to say it as respectfully as I possibly can say this. So, and my wife, it took her a long time. So if Christ had patience with the church, I have to have patience that she didn't have no father. That the mama was the father and the mother, and the mother and those generations taught disrespect to the man. And so just like I had to learn how to be loving and things like that, because that wasn't taught in my household, she had to learn how to obey a man. She had to learn that the man was in charge, and that men ain't the joke characters that they make in the cartoons and on TV. They make jokes out of these men. That's what she had to learn. And we had to just keep going over the same thing. You are not, and I had to tell my wife just like, you are not going to assert authority over me. You don't have the final say. You don't take things into your own, way. You wait for me, and I give the last saying, yay or nay. You don't do it. And you're going to keep having problems with me up until you do exactly what it says in this verse right here. And I'm going to give you the verse, and I'm going to keep doing it that way. And then after so long, if you don't want to obey God, then I'm going to get rid of your ass. And that's just how that go. We can't do nothing. If you ain't willing to obey God, we ain't got no business together. And then every time they try to assert that authority, every time they try to come with that argumentative shit, every time they come with that old slavery shit, the woman is in charge. She up in Master's house ruling and regulating the niggas in the field. It ain't finna happen. Ever, ever, ever. This is Raptor News, man, and hopefully I've been a help to some of y'all, man. Peace.
Yes, sir. 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 Yes, 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 sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Cook my dinner.
Yes, sir.
Wash my clothes.
Yes, sir.
And clean.
Yes, sir. 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 Yes, 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 sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.